Canada Immigration Lawyer Podcast. Garth is the president and CEO of Pacific East Research Corporation, and he's based in BC, and they have U.S. operations as well. Welcome, Garth, to the show.
Well, thanks so much, Evelyn, for having this chat together. This is really meaningful. Pacific East is a data management company. It accesses information on people for the sake of providing contact information for corporations in the U.S. and also for protecting people from fraud and giving correct identity information for all kinds of industry sectors, from healthcare to government to law enforcement, nonprofits, all kinds of organizations.
That is so interesting. What an interesting area to get into.
By that time, I'd started a company in the US, Pacific East Research Inc., in 2009. And so I was just traveling back and forth, just having meetings. And at the end of the day, after taking fingerprints and signing all kinds of documentation, they said, Garth, you're not allowed to enter for any business purposes into the US again until you have a working visa. And I said, well, why is this? Because according to NAFTA, it's okay that I come over just for meetings. And they said, no, at that time, I suppose the officer was having a mood swing or something. And they said, no, as the CEO, your face is selling your products in the US. And for the next year, I worked on a working visa myself and built this 3-inch thick document.
So you built this document and you got through. You DIY'd it yourself. So let's skip forward then, Garth, to when you and I met and you wanted to get an e-visa for your business, because of course you have no intention of moving to the States. You just want to be able to do business in the States and have your team do the same.
So I started researching all kinds of attorneys and lawyers in immigration and calling them and looking at their podcasts and things like that. And once I had, honestly, Evelyn, when I had spoken with you, knowing that you had worked in multiple countries and that your company was built on people from immigrants from all over the world, like you've done an amazing job of education. And I really believe that if somebody knows how to educate a team, then they themselves will be able to help educate me as the customer.
So we worked with you and one of our U.S. attorneys to get the first E for you. And as you may remember, it was the appointment date for the consular in Toronto was very, very long. That was in the midst of COVID, right? It took something like, I don't know, how long was it? 8 months, 10 months, a year?
Yeah, we worked on it through 2020. And then in November of 2021, we flew out to Toronto and I had the interview there at the U.S. consular office. And you said, and the other attorney from the U.S. said, Garth, you don't need to bring anything. We've sent them everything. They've got it all. But I brought a big stack of information so that in case I was questioned, I would have the answer. And of course, they looked at me. You had done your job so perfectly. And I'm saying this, that's the truth. It was so perfect. They looked and said, oh, how's your day going? Good, good, good. A few more questions and signed off and it was done. So that was great. Basically, that e-visa is actually amazing because as soon as you're crossing the border, land or through air, they look at it, the customs officer will look at it and they go, oh, it's an e-visa. It's almost like a sense of sophistication.
It is.
I sign off and welcome you to the country. It's such a good deal. When a person is going into the US, the Canadian government has Export Development Canada. And Export Development Canada can come alongside because their job is to promote foreign enterprise. And they can come alongside and counsel, advise, provide financial security, and even as access to cash if needs be, depending upon the project that's going on in the US. And I think that that's really important to understand that in that area with Canada, it is head and shoulders above probably any other country in the world when it comes to foreign investment. And finding the counsel that we pay for anyway with our taxes. So why not find that counsel in Export Development Canada? And I think the other thing is it's a who you know world, and the network really matters. And trust has to happen. And so if you're dealing with somebody and you trust them and you've only met them twice or you've been doing some business, get out there and get some references. Make sure you can trust that person a lot. Make sure they are industry leaders. I have crossed the border many times just to meet with an industry leader just for breakfast and then flown back when finances are tight, just to build a network with people that I know will provide the right connections with us.
So I love that. Those are really valuable. What I really liked about it before I moved here was you would meet face to face, have a lunch, done. And there's something about you don't have to spend months and months for the RFP. You would just have that, you'd have that prep, you'd get there, you'd talk to them, you show them that you were, and you'd learn about who they were. And if it felt right, you shook hands and that was it.